Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of our video series named Learning and Development, Preparing Enterprises for Tomorrow. Today, we have joining with us Ritu Chakrabarti, AVP and Global Head, Learning and Development, LTMindtree. Welcome, Ritu, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We also have joining once again Arushee Aggarwal, Head Coursera for Business India. Thank you, Arushee, for taking our time once again.
Thank you, pleasure.
We have a very interesting, point to discuss today. Different from the other series interviews that we have already had. We are, and Ritu, that's all because we have had you today, right? You are heading such a massive, technology company, right? And you are solutioning technology for many others, right? And LTMindtree is, a name to reckon with in the industry. When we know technology today, it has become so immersive that it impacts our daily lives also, right? But from an organizational standpoint, what we are also seeing transcending, right, is that when people think digital, their first thing that comes to mind is agility, flexibility, right? That's the first promise of technology. That's my reading, right? But technology alone cannot do it. It has to be solutionized through the employees. The employees are also required to be agile, which might be missed at times, and for that is where all heads turn towards the L&D heads, right? When we look at learning and technology today in this backdrop, right, I feel there are two cross currents working, right? From an employee standpoint, employee is looking for learning experiences. Okay, the employee is looking at how is it going to impact the daily work. Employees are also wanting to understand how it's going to impact the human interactions, not just the the technical or the functional work that they do, right? On the other side, businesses are driving capability, performance, flexibility, like I said. How do you approach this dilemma, if I may say, in your usual day, and how do you incorporate this in your organization? Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, and lovely questions. First of all, thanks for having me here. So if I just take up what you mentioned about the agility and what you mentioned about the employee focus. So I'll just answer in two parts. One is the employee value proposition, and the second part is the organization value proposition. So if I look at the employee value proposition, the learning offerings are designed such that it helps them perform better in their project roles in our IT service industry context, and eventually it should help them grow in their career path. So these are the two main things for the employee value proposition. And when I come to the organization value proposition, all the learning solutions are designed such that it is business aligned, first of all. It is customer aligned. What customers are expecting, we have to align our learning solutions accordingly. And the third thing is the organization's dynamics towards how do we become the future ready. Now, if I look at the employee value proposition and organization value proposition, these two dimensions have to come together, have to converge together to create a robust learning framework, which is holistic, which is comprehensive. And as you say, whether it is human skill or whether it is technology, whether it is industry domain knowledge, we have to bring everything together to create that learning framework. Today I build up my learning framework, and then tomorrow the technology landscape changes, and how do I handle it? So that is where the organizations are investing into a lot of talent analytics and predictive models. So that's something which is interesting, and this is a classic example of augmenting the human capabilities with the AI engine and build something which is intelligent, which is agile enough to give us fluid model. So that's how we are dealing the situation. I'll just give you a pause.
Wonderful, Ritu. Thank you for that. And yeah, you brought in a very important nuance. I think the analytics part, the AI part, right? So that you are able to keep pace. Arushee, at this juncture, I think I come to you with a more difficult and a challenging question. How do you deliver that seamlessness, that interactive thing, so that learning can be deployed at mass, however, not taking away the nuances that need to be taken care of at every level or every function or every domain, right? Over to you, Arushee.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to share the stage with Ritu. We've had the pleasure of working together with LTMindtree for a very long time, and the way we look at this is how can we make sure that the end customer, in this case making sure the businesses get the outcomes of the employees being available to do the projects that they are tasked to do, as well as the employees being able to make the career progressions that their aspirations are. If we are able to understand that, that is when we are able to actually do something meaningful for our partners. So the way we have tried to do this is the following. We have about 120 million learners on the platform globally. And with that, we have a lot of data in terms of what is important to them and what really defines an outcome or a skill. And through that, what we've done is we've created role-based skill paths, which is skill sets. And we've said that let these be role-based, where these can be turnkey and this can be used by an individual for whatever the role that they are playing. And the way we've tried to make it quite customized is, of course, using the benefits. Our company started with, with AI. Our founders are deep into AI. So what we've attempted to do is use Gen AI to be able to customize these things.
Arushee, I'd like to just dig a little bit deeper,
Yes,
and when you say you have made it role-based, are you also saying that it's modular and if someone is aspiring for a certain role, they can also kind of take it up, or is it only for people who are in a certain kind
Absolutely. So the way we like to define learning is in 3 simple ways, which is literacy, upskilling and reskilling. Literacy is where you would like to know about a topic because you want to have a conversation with someone who and be relevant over there. Upskilling, as you said, is someone who wants to do better at their job, wants to succeed at what they are doing and provide value for themselves and the organization. And reskilling is when they'd like to move to a different role. What we've also done in the reskilling framework is create what we call as professional certificates, right? Where without any background in that area, one can do that role. Of course, that will be much more extensive than upskilling, but that is possible. And we've seen success where one of our customers, where there are field sales roles, they've actually moved into analytics roles.
That's wonderful, Arushee. Ritu, I come back to you now. We spoke of how, mapping analytics and AI and all of this is expected to deliver results, right? But the one critical parameter, what do you mean by results? What is the ROI of all of this, right? How do you define, how do you measure, right? How do you know the effectiveness, right?
So what we are trying to, I think the concept is nothing but whatever learning happens for a purpose. And what is the business purpose? And if we really need to understand that, we need to collaborate with the business very closely. Now, to do that, I think a structure like, say, we need to have policy, we need to have processes, we need to have system, but we also need to have people to drive things. So policies are typically employee-friendly policies which are helping the employees to work in their project roles better and then align to the business that they are delivering to the customer. Processes is nothing but a rhythm that we are trying to do in terms of considering the policies and considering the business needs, but a right rhythm in alignment with the business. System, obviously, like Arushee mentioned about the platforms, likewise there are several platforms that we use. But then people, I'll just explain a little bit more. These people are learning experts. Now, these learning experts are trying to understand the business needs in terms of the learning and everyday learning, what kind of talent composition should be there for each of these business units, and how can we offer the right learning solutions to them. When it comes to the return of learning, we try to measure through certain metrics, and eventually it should get connected to the revenue and the bottom line. So how are we impacting in a positive way? How are we helping the business go for new businesses and position our talent preparations are utilized towards gaining new business or not? That's point number one. And then the other point is, if we are bringing efficiencies, if we are bringing productivity, higher efficiencies through the learning, then our learning solutions, is it making that happen? So that's something which we are measuring. The learning solutions, is it helping to gain more business, and is it helping to bring more efficiencies to reduce the cost?
Ritu, what you spelled out has a direct impact on the bottom line and the top line, right? Because you are talking of acquiring new businesses, right? Arushee, how do you help build in certain KPIs within your courses or your platform for leaders such as Ritu to kind of, fill that gap, so that they can, map it to the business objectives?
Absolutely. And I think Ritu put it really well, which is, how does it impact the business? The ultimate outcome is to see whether there is a revenue impact and whether there is a, we can take out some of the costs. So if I were to follow that sort of framework, I think on the revenue side, what we try and do is make sure that this learning is relevant for the organization, is seamless, is frictionless, and is something which the employee is self-motivated to do, right? So the idea is that the learning leaders and the business leaders think it's the right solution, and the learners are actually able to do these so that both those objectives come together. And one of the unique things that our platform has is that we partner with a lot of industry partners who are authors of content where they are the best in the field, and that helps in building credibility, for example in a tech services organization, to show how the right to revenue or the right to win a project is with the company because of the fantastic skill profile that the learners have. Similarly, on the cost side, and I'll give this with an example, one of our customers, what they did is their focus was on digital and to see how can we leverage digital. And then they said, how about we use digital for our own organization? And what they've done is they've created 650 micro assets through the learning that has been done onto a portal where productivity improvement internally is happening within the company. Something as simple as writing code to be able to automate some of the emails that are being sent, which are standard across the organization and can be leveraged. So you're saving time, you're getting more productive, and your costs are going down.
Beautiful, Arushee. I think we did a complete full circle, because I think that's where I started at the beginning of this conversation, where I said that employees want to see that what they learn is impacting their daily work. Exactly. And the example that you quoted just now demonstrates that very thing, and how it's going to impact their human interactions. I think you have kind of answered both nuances. Thank you very much, ladies. It's always a pleasure to conduct a all ladies panel. I take a special pride in that. Thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Arushee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.